Arjun.
My son-in-law. He's a fan of yours, and that's also my fan. I'm very fortunate. I actually came to your quarters in 2015. So you were singing Damadashtakam actually in your room. Yeah, I think you do it every day, right? So that was a lot of fun. Somebody's like, oh, they were singing. Come along with us. Don't worry, you won't get it. So I came with somebody else. Yeah, very, very nice to have you. I've told you on Sunday part of your somewhere. Very excited. Sorry. How do you both be singing together?
Give it to someone else, because I have to play the card now. Hare Krishna. Dhiren. Dhiren Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We're now going to have a class on Bhagavad-gītā. So, yep, please join us. But before that, we'll start with a small bhajan, glorifying Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, in Vrajdham. So, like all other bhajans and other kirtans, we do the same fashion, call and response. And I'm sure you are just having an ecstatic kirtan here with Madhav Prabhu. So yes, let's continue the enthusiasm if we can. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vrajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Okay, now we're going to recite some prayers, so please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So thank you all for joining. We'll be reciting from chapter 8 of Bhagavad-gītā, verse 17. So I will first recite the Sanskrit and then you can repeat after me. And then we'll see if someone wants to do the same from the audience. So the verse is on the screen. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratro Vido Jana Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu Ratrim Yoga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu Ratri Yoga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidhu Ratrim Yoga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. Anyone else would like to try? Okay, so now we will read the word-to-word translation. Sahasra, 1000. Yuga, millenniums. Paryantam, including. Aha, day. Yat, that which. Brahmana, of Brahma. Vidhu, they know. Ratrim, night. Yuga, millenniums. Sahasra Antam, similarly ending after 1000. Te, day. Aharatra, day and night. Vida, who understand. Janaha, people. Translation and purport by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. By human calculation, 1000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 1,728,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 1,296,000 years. In the Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 864,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 432,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Kalki Avatar, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma's lives 100 of such years, and then Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculation total to 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creations are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe, and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death, according to the law of material nature. So that was a long purport, and before I start speaking, I would like to recite the invocation prayers, and those of you know can join me along with it so that we can, seek blessings from our seniors and our gurus. Om Jnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktive Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before I start speaking something, I would like to seek blessings from all of you that I'm able to speak something in the line of Prabhupada's teaching and also something that would benefit myself and to you, hopefully. So we are now in chapter 8, which is entitled Attaining the Supreme. So just a quick recap before we get into today's verse. So in the previous verse, Krishna was explaining Arjuna about how one can understand him as the supreme truth. So this left Arjuna with many doubts, and he wanted to get some clarification regarding some important terms. So in this chapter, he's asking Krishna basically, what is Brahman, what is Adhyatma, what is Karma, what is Adibhuta, what is Adidaiva, what is Adiyagya. And then one of the important questions is being asked here by Arjuna, that how can one remember Krishna, how can one remember him at the time of death? And that is also being addressed in this chapter. And Krishna, he explains in verse 8.7 and 8.5 that it's like whoever practices Krishna consciousness and whoever has this consciousness cultivated throughout their life, they will, whatever consciousness they basically cultivate, that's what they will remember at the time of death. And therefore in 8.7 Krishna gives the instruction to Arjuna, saying that always remember me, at the same time perform your duty. So Krishna is not saying that run away from your duty, go to a forest, meditate upon me, and then cultivate this Krishna consciousness. No, he's giving us a very simple instruction. Keep doing whatever you're doing, whatever your duty is in life, but do it by remembering me. So in this chapter, basically, Krishna is just instructing Arjuna that how do you remember me? It's not only at the time of death that you should remember me, but also throughout your entire life. And then once he covers that, then he comes to the topic of time and existence that we're currently part of. And he describes like the vast cycle of creation, destruction, and explains that even the highest material planet, which is Brahmaloka, is also temporary. So we'll be expanding on that. So before I start talking, let me ask this question. What's the longest period of time that you can imagine that makes sense to you? When you think about time, what's the longest period of time that you can think of? Yeah, that's the most common answer, 100 years. Can someone think of 1,000 years? 10,000? Million? Billion? Trillion? Seems unimaginable, right? Yeah. Because that's, as Subhadra said, that it's natural for us to think what is our lifespan, 100 years, and then that's what we can think of. But in this verse, Krishna is trying to completely change our concept of time. Because as we read in the purport, he was describing Brahma's day. In this age and time, if someone lives for 80 years, 90 years, we celebrate them. Just a few days back, there was a celebration at the Haveli. Someone was celebrating their 95th birthday. And everyone was congratulating them for what a life they had. But in the purport, we are seeing how they are talking about Brahma's day and night. So let's try to understand that. I'm not going to get into depth because to be honest, this is one topic, even in Bhagavatam, that I used to run away from, the creation and the time, because it was always so oh my God, can't even imagine it. But just to simply put what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, So let's just talk about Brahma's day, a single day, not his night, just his day, not his entire life, not his childhood, not his 100 years, just a day. So it is explained that one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. So all the 4 yugas, and that's 1 times 1,000. So a complete cycle of 4 yugas is approximately 4.32 million human years. And 1,000 of that is Brahma's just one day of Brahma. So it's 4.32 billion human years. That's a day. And then Brahma also has a night, which consists of the same amount of time. So another 4.32 billion human years. So in one whole full day of Brahma is 8.64 billion human years. So I know these are just like vast numbers. Now that is just a day. And Brahma also lives for 100 years just like us. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gaur Nitai ki. So Brahma's 100 years, it amounts for 311 trillion human years, approximately. So that is according to Prabhupada's calculation. And these calculations have been further explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, as I was explaining in Canto 3, 11th chapter. And it explains how currently we have already lived like 50 years of Brahma's life, and now we are on the other 50 years. We have started the other 50 years. So I think we are on the 50 years and first day, or 51st year and first day. Anyone remembers? 51st, yeah? 51st year and the first day of Brahma's life, I think. So if you just think about it, like, it's something that's beyond our imagination. So, we struggle to even imagine 100 years. And Krishna is asking us to contemplate billions of years over here. So someone would naturally think, like, why is Krishna doing this? Like, is he trying to change our sense of proportion? Like, what's the point of making us think about something beyond our imagination? Like, we are only here for 100 years, so what's the point of thinking about this billions and trillions of years that he's talking about? So why is this knowledge about creation so important? Is it relevant to us? Yes? It is definitely relevant to us. And it is an important question, because obviously Krishna is not giving Arjuna astronomy class over here. He's stating this point in Bhagavad-gītā because he wants to make some point. And what point is that? He's just giving Arjuna a perspective. Because when we hear how vast this creation is, we naturally start to think about 3 things. 3 things happen within us. First, we realize Krishna's greatness. We realize how incredible he is, how powerful he is. Yet, he's still so kind enough that he's designing this material, this material world, this complicated system, just so that we can revive our consciousness back and go back to him. To fulfill our desires. He has created this material universe. And the second thing that we can realize is that how small we are. Because if you think that, whatever I explain about Brahma's day and night and Brahma's 100 years, that is just a flash for Vishnu. Because, as he inhales and he exhales, that's it, it's done. So, just realizing this, it makes us think like how insignificant we are. But what do we do in this material world? Everything is just my problems, my troubles, my life. We're all just thinking about my. But if we see in the whole creation, we are nothing. And the third thing that it makes us realize is that it gives us faith that, how this creation has come about. Nowadays we hear about the Big Bang Theory, that everything just happened randomly, even though if it makes sense or not. But, if we don't have something better to believe in, that's what we believe in. But because we have the whole creation explained to us in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gītā, we know, we have faith that, okay, this is exactly how the creation came about. And it makes absolute sense because everything is presented to us very logically. So these are the 3 things. Now, just to put this into perspective, we can take an analogy. So imagine an ant crawling across a calendar. So, calendar has the squares. And so for an ant, one square, it may look very enormous. It may take it, one day, then another to cross the whole calendar. But for us, someone who's looking from above, we see the entire calendar is visible to us. So the ant is experiencing one day at a time, but we are seeing the whole picture. So our human experience is very similar to that. We completely become absorbed in what happened yesterday, what will happen tomorrow, what do they think of me, will I get this job? Basically everything revolving around us. But Krishna is, he's trying to give Arjuna a zoomed out picture of the whole universe, zoomed out view. And he's saying that don't just judge reality only from the perspective of a tiny window that you can see. There's bigger picture than that. There's one great gift of this. This is one of the great gifts that scripture gives us. Shastras, they give us perspective. So this is one part of the shloka that we read today about the time factor. Now there is something else that Krishna is trying to tell us through this verse. And that is the factor of temporality. We see that everything in our life, it changes. If I have to ask you, what is one thing in your life that you wish would never change? What would be your answer? Sorry? Body. Yes. We always want to stay youthful and energetic. Health, yes. Any other answers? Energy, yes. Yeah, there's so many possible answers. I'm pretty sure if there was a larger crowd here, would get multiple answers. Health, family, relationships, youth, home, friendships. There's many multiple answers that we can think of. But if you actually think about it, does it all say the same? No, it all changes. None of them are guaranteed to remain exactly how they are. This is not me being pessimistic. This is not Krishna being pessimistic. It is just a reality. It's a simple reality. Everything changes. Our bodies changes. Our circumstances, they change. Our relationships change. Our jobs change. Our communities change. Everything changes. So by this verse, Krishna is just preparing Arjuna. Because as we know, Bhagavad-gītā's background story, Arjuna was baffled. He didn't want to fight anymore because he was scared of fighting his family members, his friends, relatives. So Krishna was trying to explain to him that nothing is permanent. All of this is temporary. So what are you exactly worried about? And this is also our situation in life, isn't it? Just thinking about change makes us very uncomfortable. It definitely makes me uncomfortable, just thinking that, something's going to change. You like to stay in that constant position. But Keshav Maharaj says in his lecture that the only constant in this material world is change. Everything else is temporary. And even though we know this, but how often do we realize it and think about it? So, but actually when we do realize this point, that everything is temporary, it gives you an inner peace. And you're more acceptable to change. You're more readily, you can readily accept the change. And there's a story that it reminds me of about a king. He once asks his subjects that he wants a gift. He wants his subject to give him a gift that when he sees the gift, then whenever he's sad, it will make him happy. And whenever he's happy, it will make him sad. I don't know why he would want to be sad when he's happy, but anyways, he wanted something like that. So everyone was thinking what to give him. And then someone came up and gave him a ring. And in that ring it was encrypted, "This too shall pass." At first the king was confused, what does this mean? But if you think about it, if you're happy and you see this too shall pass, it means, yes, happiness is there today, you might be sad tomorrow. If you're sad today, again it will pass, and you may be happy again tomorrow. So this is a very simple truth of this material world, but again, very difficult to realize and accept. We're living in this material world where, as I said before, all we talk about is my house, my career, my reputation, my money, my problems, my relationship, my future, my, everything is just revolving around me, myself, and I. But then Krishna, he suddenly now is trying to expand our vision from what happens to me tomorrow to what will happen to the entire universe over billions and billions of years. And then he just wants us to understand that even that is temporary. Because in the purport he's mentioning that even if you attain Brahmaloka, even that is not guaranteed that it's going to stay the same. Even that is going to go. It's a shocking conclusion, but that is the reality of life. And then Mataji, so the first thing when I asked what do you not want to change, the first answer was body. And I know that would be the most common answer. But even that changes. If you look at your old photograph, you can't recognize yourself anymore because you're a different person now. The body has changed completely. And Srila Prabhupada, he repeatedly mentions about this in the Bhagavad-gītā with the famous shloka. Anyone would like to recite? Yes, exactly. Dainosmin yatha dehe komaram yavanam jara tatha dehantra praptir dhirastatra namoyati. So translation, just as the embodied soul passes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly the soul passes into another body at death. But something remains the same. What's that? Yes, our soul. Our consciousness, the consciousness self, like that remains the same. So the body changes, but the soul doesn't. Material circumstances change, Krishna doesn't. Material world is temporary, but the spiritual reality is eternal. And it's important that we understand that, because one may, simply state the fact that, okay, if everything is temporary, why should we even bother to do anything? If everything is going to change, then what's the point? But this is when the higher truth comes in place. This is when we start to understand that, yes, everything does change, and that is why we should turn to the eternal. That is, focus on our soul, focus on Krishna, focus on the spiritual reality, the spiritual world, which is forever eternal. That does not change. And Krishna, he explains this in verse 2.16, where he says, Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. The unreal has no permanent existence, and the eternal can never cease to be. The other question that we can think about, okay, fine, if everything does pass, like everything is temporary, then why do we suffer so much when things pass? Yes, that is one way to see it. But the other thing is that, yes, even though we know that everything changes, everything passes, but we resist it because we don't want that change. Someone may say that, okay, something is changing, we say no. Someone leaves, we say no. The body ages, no, we don't want it to age. Relationship changes, no. Our position changes, no. Someone criticizes us, no. We want the temporary to behave as though it is permanent. That is our problem. And that is the one fundamental tension of this material life, because even though we know everything is going to change, but we want to stick to it. And the simplest way to understand is that, think about you're holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze it tightly, what happens to the sand? Yes, exactly. It slips through your fingers. So the tighter you hold it, the more sand falls out, escapes. Now imagine that sand represents your youth, your relationships, your possession, your status, health, material success. What is our natural instinct? Hold it tight. But just like the sand, it slips away. And that is exactly what Krishna is trying to teach us here. That don't try to possess the temporary. Learn how to serve the eternal. Don't try to resist. Don't try to just, be attached to all that is temporary. Turn your attention toward the eternal. And this is not being indifferent, but this is the proper attachment that we should actually develop. So why is the other reason? There's also another reason why Krishna is trying to tell us about Brahma's day. Because us as human beings, we have the psychological problem that I have plenty of time. I will chant more later. I will read later. I'll do my devotional service later. And then I'll become serious later when the life settles down. But does life ever really settle down? Anyone that can say that, okay, now I'm well settled. I don't have anything else to worry about. Now I can just focus and sit and do my chanting because my life is settled down. Anyone can say that? No. There's always another responsibility. There's always another ambition, another distraction. And then suddenly, the years have passed. The time has come for us to depart. So the one reason why Krishna is actually trying to tell us about Brahma's day is that even 100 years of Brahma's life is nothing. It will just pass by, because that is the truth about time. It does not stay, it does not stop for anyone. It passes by. So if I had to ask you this question today, if you knew you had only 1 year left to live, what would you change in your life? Have you ever given that a thought? No? Exactly. But if anyone has, what is stopping you from living that way now? Attachments. Exactly. But does everyone realize that we don't have forever? Yeah? Yes, but again, we are in denial, right? That is the, what would I say, the amazing thing about this material world. We see every day death around us, yet we think that it's not going to come to us. Yeah? And yeah, Bhagavad-gītā is not trying to teach you to be afraid, not make you afraid of death, but it's just trying to open your eyes. And it's trying to make us live our life intelligently. So, when Parikshit Maharaj knew that he had 7 days to live, what did he do? Yes. Yeah, he just gave away everything and he turned to Krishna. But he was lucky. He got to know that he had 7 days. How many of us know? How much time do we have? None of us, exactly. Today I'm here, tomorrow I may not be. So it's an important thing that we give it a thought. We have no idea of how long our life is for. So while we can, let's turn to Krishna and serve him and try to develop this Krishna consciousness. Now if I ask you another question, if I were to offer you a body that would live 1,000 years, would you accept it?
Yes.
She's the honest one over here. Most of the people would say yes. Imagine 10,000 years. If I gave you 10,000 years, would you accept it? Yes, why not? 1,000,000 years?
Yes.
Of course. So imagine Brahma, he has 4.32 billion, that's just his single day. But even if that was the case and we got a body that was 1,000,000 years ago, it has a lifespan of 1,000,000 years, was it going to solve the biggest problem of our life? Which is the biggest problem of our life? Yes, repeated birth and death, the cycle of birth and death. Is it going to solve that? No, exactly. Because even that ends, like Krishna has explained in the purport, that even he has a lifespan. And once that 100 years is over, he also has to go through the cycle of birth and death. So therefore, Krishna is trying to put this point here that don't try to live longer. Just try and get out of this cycle altogether. Because that is not the purpose. Our purpose is not to go to the highest planet like Brahmaloka. Because even if we do attain that, we're still going to come back. We're still going to be in that cycle, in that loop of birth, death, misery, like diseases, old age. Everything is just going to be the same. So we need to aim to go out of that cycle, break that cycle. And Krishna is explaining this further in this chapter, actually, as we go on further. He's explaining that from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. So imagine, as I was saying, that reaching Brahmaloka, you still come back. Therefore, material advancement, it is not the same as spiritual advancement. Because you can become richer, you can become healthier, you can become famous, you can live longer, and you can reach higher planets. But none of this is going to solve our fundamental problem. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he repeatedly emphasizes that the intelligent person should not become fascinated with extending material existence. Rather, they should try and become Krishna conscious. So, again, a simple way to understand is that imagine you're in a prison cell and you're not happy with your cell. Then someone comes and tells you that, okay, fine, I will move you to a larger cell. Over there you'll have a television, you'll have better food, a comfortable life, comfortable bed. And he says, okay, wonderful, my life is perfect now. But then another person says, but do you not realize that you're still in prison? What's the point? So this is our material advancement. We can improve our circumstances enormously, but still we remain caught in that cycle. So we haven't solved the fundamental problem. And the only solution to that is bhakti, devotional service. So, what's the time? 48, okay. So I will try and wrap up now so that I can leave you some time in case you want to ask some questions. So just to have a brief recap of whatever we covered today, we talked about everything is temporary, but if there is something that remains, that is? Yes, the soul, Krishna, and our relationship with Krishna. That is eternal, and that stays. So how do we make this temporary to last forever? How do we connect ourselves to Krishna? Bhakti, exactly. So, if we are constantly moving, our focus should not be to progress, not our degrees, not our bank account, not our social position, not even our body, but focus on your consciousness. Focus on developing your consciousness. And therefore, bhakti is the most valuable investment. As they say that is one bank account. Whatever you invest in there, you even carry it after death. You move with it. You don't leave that behind like everything else that you would leave behind at the time of death. So we do that by cultivating our remembrance of Krishna. We hear about Krishna, we chant Krishna's holy name, and we serve Krishna as devotee. We try to engage all our senses in Krishna's service because, as I said, at the time of death, that is what we're going to carry with us. So our life, it may be very small in comparison to the whole universe, but it is enormously valuable because in this life we have that opportunity to actually do all of that. But all we do in our life is sleep, eat, mate, defend, and animals also do that. Try to get material possession. So we're basically trying to live an animalistic life while we have this great gift of a human body where we can actually try and develop our relationship with Krishna. So let's use that valuable time, because within this small window we can actually make our eternal decision. Because we don't need billions of years to become Krishna consciousness. All it requires is this moment. As you have all gathered here and you're trying to listen, and I'm grateful for that. So yes, it just requires that moment to change your decision and okay, now I'm going to focus on something even more important. And every moment we use for hearing, chanting, remembering, and serving Krishna is a moment that is no longer lost to time. That is a great investment that we have already put forward. So remember that and try and cultivate this. So with that, we have about 9 minutes left, and I'll just open it up to questions, because yes, it is important to ask questions. It's good to be inquisitive, and also please feel free to share comments, any realizations, yeah, whatever you'd like to contribute. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Okay, that's a great point. Just so in case someone didn't hear her question, basically she's asking that one of the things I mentioned is that by realizing how great this universe is, we understand that Krishna is so enormous, he's so magnificent, and at the same time, we are so insignificant because we're so small comparing to the whole universe. And so her question is that, okay, so how is that going to help us build our relationship with Krishna? Because relationships are built between equals. And in this, there's a huge difference between Krishna and us. The way I would put it is that, okay, maybe it came across as 2 points coming together, but actually it's 2 different points. In one way, yes, we do realize that Krishna is great, but at the same time, he has made all of this for us. And realizing that we are small is not for the point that to make us feel that, okay, no, I have no, there is no chance for me to have this relationship, but rather it's for materialistic people who are just revolving around me, myself, and I. All they think about is, this is my world around me, and that's it. There's nothing beyond this. But when we move to Shastras, and actually, how Prabhupada also says that each one of us is actually very significant, because each one of us, we have this potential to actually make our relationship with Krishna. And once we realize that, once we start viewing this world, not with the small circle around us, once we see the greater picture, actually that changes immediately. So that's what I would say. Anyway, if you would like to add anything to that, or if I made sense. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You see the bigger picture. You need to break through that circle and see the bigger picture, that you're always connected to Krishna. You already have that relationship with Krishna. It's just something that we need to awaken ourselves to. Because he's always waiting for us to actually turn towards him. It's us who has turned our back towards him. Yeah. Because he's the origin and we are just his minute particles. He is God. He doesn't need to be big. In fact, in Bhagavad-gītā it said that Krishna is even present in the tiniest of particles, things that we cannot see. He's there. He's part of each and every atom. He's there in our heart as a Paramatma. He is big, but he's at the same time, he's the smallest. So he can take whatever form you want to see him as. If you want to see him as a friend, you see him as a friend. Yes, Amrita. Yes. So Prabhupada says that all we need to do is, the A, B, C, D in our life. So A stands for? Yes, yeah, I have a great audience today. Yes, association with devotees. So we need, like everyone has gathered here today. This is association. This is a sangha. We're all associating with each other. We're here to get some knowledge. We're here to associate with Krishna. So this is association of devotees. B is for books. Exactly. So Prabhupada has done this enormous job, of great favor to us. Stayed up at nights to translate these books, written so many commentaries, purports. So take advantage of that. And that is in the material sense, but in spiritual sense, A stands for association. And B stands for books. C stands for chanting. Exactly. Oh, I'm just happy with this audience today. I don't even have to say anything. Okay, C stands for chanting. So in many Puranas actually, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he specially came. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non different than Krishna. He came as a devotee just to give us this mantra, this Maha Mantra of 16 syllables, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada says, yeah, we just need to chant, and it's not a process like, okay, I start chanting today and next day you expect yourself to be connected to Krishna, I can feel his energy and everything. It's a process. And we just, continue doing this. And eventually we see the result. And the D stands for diet. Basically, prasadam, honoring prasadam, which is very easy. Who over here does not enjoy eating? You don't enjoy eating? Oh, that's a shame. But I'm pretty sure the majority of you do. So all we have to do is offer that prasadam, offer that bhoga to Krishna and honor it. As simple as that. And just by doing this A, B, C, D in our life, if we are able to cultivate this in our life, then gradually we develop this connection with Krishna. And that is, it has been said in the Shastra and it has been tested and proved. Okay. We have 1 minute for Aarti. So I will answer your questions outside. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. So there is 1 minute to Aarti. We're soon going to have Gaur Aarti. Thank you all for your attention and participating. Hare Krishna.
Mother